Member statements. I call the member for Port Stephens.
Thank you, Mr Assistant Speaker. The people of Port Stephens have been let down by this government and their misplaced priorities. In recent weeks, the Premier has launched her 20-year infrastructure plan, but I must ask the Premier, what's the point of planning the next 20 years if you can't even deliver the projects you promised at the last election? Speaker, the people of Port Stephens have every right to feel cheated after the recent confirmation that the promised upgrade to Nelson Bay Road has been deferred until at least 2021. Nelson Bay Road is one of the most important roads in Port Stephens. The state road connects the Tomaree Peninsula, the Tilligary Peninsula and the Newcastle Airport to the broader Hunter region. At least half the residents in my electorate must travel on this road to get to or from Newcastle and to the rest of the Hunter. This is also the road which brings the many tourists to our region, tripling the population in peak times and supporting the many amazing tourism businesses of Port Stephens. I cannot underscore enough the importance of this road to the economic and social well-being of Port Stephens. But despite its importance, there are still sections of the road which are still single lane and cause significant congestion during peak times, as well as posing a risk of traffic accidents blocking the only entrance and exit to the area. A number of sections of the road have been duplicated so far. Stages 1 and 2 were completed under the Labor governments led by Bob Carr and Morris Yemma. Stage 3 was completed under the O'Farrell government. Given the importance of the road, there was significant attention paid when then Premier Mike Baird came to Port Stephens and promised just under $70 million for what he called the full duplication of the road. The commitment was made on the eve of the 2015 election, only a short time after Labor had promised a similar commitment for the next section of duplication. With the election over, Mike Baird continued as Premier, and this election commitment was published in the New South Wales Government's 2015-2019 election commitment document. This commitment was so special, it was the third project listed in the transport section. That document is still available on the Treasury website. With this prominent placement in the list of election commitments, I was also always so curious why the project was not a line item in the budget. Why were my questions each year about the timeframe for delivery of the project ignored? I had just put this down to the usual arrogance of this government. But Freedom of Information documents now tell a deeper story. At some point after the 2015 election, a decision was made that the almost $70 million that had been promised would not be spent in this term of government. Instead, it would be put on hold until at least 2021. This meant the roadworks would not be completed until 2025. Only $200,000, or less than 1% of the promised money, has been spent so far on this project. And it's been spent on what? A plan for design of roadworks that may or may not start in the years to come. The deferral was so significant that RMS rejected the proposal to begin further planning works as there was no commitment to commence construction until 2021. This is the government's own documents that I'm getting this from. What the Freedom of Information documents do not reveal is who ordered this road project to be deferred. Any decision involving that amount of money would surely need to go to the Expenditure Review Committee so that the chair of the ERC, Treasurer Gladys Berejiklian, would surely have had to approve this election backflip, this broken promise. This is a Premier who can find billions of dollars for stadiums in Sydney but cannot deliver the infrastructure that they promised to a whole community at the last election. The word around Port Stephens is that local Liberals were so angry at losing the seat in 2015 that they would prefer the residents to suffer through years of inaction than deliver this project while a Labor MP is in the seat. How must it feel to be a Liberal voter in Port Stephens? And there are quite a few of them, I must say. To know that even if you look past the ICAC investigations, the sale of the Mambo wetlands, the transport mess in Newcastle, the selling off of public assets, and you still voted Liberal, the government would ignore the promises they made to you. It has been fascinating to watch the Hunter spokesperson, the Honourable Scott McDonald, try to defend this decision around Nelson Bay Road and claim that it is not a broken election promise. He has been peddling a line that the roadworks are still planned to commence in 2021, so it's not a backflip. No one believes you, Mr McDonald. So we can judge this government on its record, broken promises Nelson Bay Road, sailing off Mambo wetlands, ignoring Williamtown contamination. I invite the Premier to come to Port Stephens and explain to the residents why she was happy to see this commitment delayed.
The member's time has expired. I call